So back in the day, Photoshop was the #1 tool for photo editing for photographers or anyone that just wanted to edit photos. Ever since 2007, when Adobe released Lightroom, Lightroom has slowly replaced Photoshop for most people when it comes to photo editing. As you see, when you first open a photo, you immediately see these nice sliders that you can change things like exposure or contrast, or even just adjust the colors and change those around in your photos. It's so simple to understand this interface that even a beginner that opens it for the first time can open up Lightroom, open up a picture, and immediately be able to start messing around with photo corrections. So while Lightroom is my go-to for photo editing or photo corrections, there is one tool in Photoshop that I think Lightroom still doesn't compare to. So let's check it out. All right, so we're in Lightroom. We open up a photo and you would go through and do all of your normal corrections, which I've already done, and that gets me to here. I like the photo, I like the colors, but the thing that I don't like about this is all these little black spots all over the ground that kind of just distract your eye from the main parts of the photo. Some people might not mind it, but for me, I want to remove these. So to do something like this in Lightroom, you would use this tool over here, which is the spot removal brush. You basically just have to go around each little spot and then select an area where it would pull from to hide that spot, and you see now it's gone. So you would just continue to do this for every little spot that you see and make sure it's selecting an area that doesn't have it. So this can be very time consuming. So in Photoshop, there's actually a super quick way to do this with a tool called the healing brush. So what we're gonna do is go down to our photo here, and we're going to control click on a Mac, right click on a PC, and go to edit in Photoshop. Edit copy with Lightroom adjustments, you want to keep that on. That's basically just all the corrections that you've already done. All right, so now that we have it in Photoshop, we'll go right over here to this tool. It looks like a little band-aid, and we just keep it on spot healing brush tool. Make sure up here you have it selected to content aware, and then you just use the right bracket to adjust the size of the brush, and you simply just click and remove. And it's that simple. So you just go through this whole photo and you'll be able to remove all of those. Once you are finished, you would just hit Command S to save it, and it'll automatically just open up back in Lightroom as a new photo, and then you will be left with both the original and then the one that you've cleaned up. And it just looks 100 times better without all that stuff there. Again, looking at it at first, maybe you wouldn't even think about that, but just looking at this, you can tell that it looks a lot better. And then now that you're in Lightroom, you can actually go back and adjust anything else that you might have missed. My suggestion is always try to do all of your corrections before you go into Photoshop, because when it brings it back, it will be a TIFF file instead of your normal file that it came out of your camera or your phone. So let's check out another example. Say something like a portrait. This works really good to use. If you zoom in here, you'll see, say someone has like a little pimple or some kind of thing on their face that you want to remove, or even like up here, Evan has these little hairs right here that maybe we want to remove. And again, it's super easy in Photoshop. So we just right click, go to Photoshop. Once we have the file open in Photoshop, we can zoom in, make sure we're clicked on the spot healing brush, and then we can simply just trace his hair and it'll remove it. So super quick, super easy. Let's say that maybe he had this little freckle here was actually like a pimple or something, and we want to remove that from our model's face. We just simply click and you can remove any little spots with one simple click. So again, we'll just hit Command S, and that'll bring us back into Lightroom, and it'll put the corrected photo. So now we have the original here with the little hairs and maybe a little blemishes, and the corrected one looking much better. So there you have it. That's the spot healing tool inside of Photoshop. Again, I love Lightroom. I use it for all of my photo corrections and editing, and there's a ton of other great tools inside of Lightroom that are super easy to use, and I think much more intuitive than Photoshop. But for that specifically, when you have a little blemish or you have things in your photo that you'd like to just remove quickly, Photoshop definitely is still the way to go. And with that dynamic link where you can easily just bring your photos into Photoshop, it's still worth using and having both Lightroom and Photoshop. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you got some value or learned something new. If you haven't already, lastly, I'd love for you to like and subscribe and comment down below your favorite Photoshop tool that you use outside of Lightroom that just helps your workflow better. And also check out some of my other videos. I love to mix it up with simple tutorials like this, and also just like to go out and make little photography vlog type stuff. So definitely check those out, and hopefully I'll be seeing you right back here very soon. See ya.